Hello, everyone, and welcome to Overwatch 2. Not exact launch day. Let me just go ahead and right away apologize. I am actually under the weather. Feeling sick right now. Talk about timing. Not only is it, well, I'll say launch week because it's technically not launch day anymore, but I'll explain that in a moment. But we're also a week away from my birthday, and I come down with what was probably just another bad cold. It's not something I'm new to. That's why I usually stock up on, cough drops, Dayquil, NyQuil, all that stuff. So don't worry, I've got plenty of that stuff right here, tissues and such on my nose and such. So I'm going to try and get through this because, as they say, the show must go on. I want to cover this when it came out. So, it's just kind of, having to deal with it, when it happens. So, anyways, this is technically not launch day anymore. And the reason for that is because yesterday was such a horrible launch day that you could not get into the game, at least on the North American servers, for hours. From what I've heard, Blizzard actually once again received another DDoS attack because, of course, people out there, these days not only hate Blizzard, but also try to go out of their way to do things to make their days worse and the people who work there, but also in turn causes those who want to play their games and support them to make their days worse as well. So it just keeps becoming a regular thing, unfortunately, for those of us who actually want to, play these games and such. But, even though I'm not, I understand why plenty of people still feel the way they do about Blizzard, even though things have changed and the people who did those things are not necessarily there anymore, but whatever. I've already I spoke a whole video about this. So anyways, the DDoS stuff with the servers was so bad yesterday, you kept having issues. It would say thousands of people ahead of you in the queue. Then it would fail to connect you to the server and try again. Even if you got in, you could have a server error, which would put you back in the queue. It was horrible yesterday. You weren't able to actually have a decent way to get in until maybe late at night last night. And even today, the second day this game is out, I'm still having issues trying to get into the North American servers. So I've heard, or at least I did hear, that if you swap to a different region, it actually could be better for you. And it looks like it's still that way on the European servers. But once I swapped to the Asian server region, I was able to get an instant login. So right now, I'm actually on the Asian region server for Overwatch 2 because it gave me an immediate login. I guess there's not much of an issue on in this area. So I guess if you want to just start playing the game, swap from North America to Asia, because apparently there's nothing going wrong with the Asian servers at the moment. Hopefully the North American ones will get better, so you can actually play with your friends and such, unless you just say, everybody swap to the Asian server so we can play together, because it seems like there's no issues there. So anyways, now that I've addressed that issue, excuse me, like I said, gonna try and do this even though I'm feeling sick. Let's talk about some of the changes, even though this is Overwatch 2, and yet it also doesn't, for a lot of people, it doesn't feel that way. And they're kind of not really getting or understanding how this has changed or how this is going to work. It is true that one of the big reasons that many of us looked forward to Overwatch 2, which was mainly the story and PvE content, unfortunately got pushed back. The game still came out with basically the same kind of content that we knew from the first game, the PvP stuff, but that stuff will unfortunately have to come out later on next year. When? Not sure. They just simply said 2023. So that's the big reason I was looking forward to Overwatch 2. I'll just have to patiently wait for that. This is also worth noting that they are advertising that this is now a free-to-play game, which, for those of you who are familiar with free-to-play games, probably are like, oh no. Because, yeah, that can mean a number of bad things. Like, Other mobile games are like, hey, it's free to play, but hey, look at all these other things that are like, hey, why don't you buy this and buy this and buy this? Mobile games have had this notorious history of being free to play, but yet they have all these paywalls, forcing you to do microtransactions. So you can't really play the game, even though it's free to play, because you have to spend microtransactions to really actually play the game. So if you're curious about how that's working, so one of the new main things here is what's called the Battle Pass. This is basically, they're doing this season thing where now you can see there's a number of days remaining. So what this basically is it's a reason for you to keep playing the game, because the more stuff you do and the more you play the game, the more rewards you will unlock, because player levels are basically gone. If you look at my player profile, which, by the way, they had an account merging option, which allowed them to merge both my PC account and my PlayStation 4 account. If you guys remember, I used to play this game a lot back on the PlayStation 4, and then I swapped over to PC later on. Well, they merged everything I did on both accounts into one account here. So basically, all these stats that I've accumulated on both accounts have been combined here all together. That's why the hours are now different here altogether compared to how they were on separate accounts. That was my former player level. That has basically been retired. That's not a thing that changes anymore. I think that's going to stay the same. The endorsement stuff is still there, though it's a little different now. Customization is basically the portrait, except now it's a little different. You can change this background that's over here. There's also player titles that you can be able to earn. I haven't gotten any of those yet. Achievements, of course, are still here, and achievements you earned on separate accounts are combined here. Now, again, I don't think this counts for two separate PC accounts. This was mainly to incorporate and combine PC and console accounts. So, for example, I never pulled off the It's High Noon achievement here on PC. I did, however, pull it off on PS4. That was combined here. So any achievements that I got on PS4, it now is accounted for here on this combined PC account as well. This is also history is now where you'll see all the highlights and game reports and replays and such. So yeah, there's definitely some changes that are going on here in the profile. Challenges is part of what's going on here with the Battle Pass. This is basically like there's daily challenges like, hey, do this and you'll get this much of an XP boost for your Battle Pass. There are weekly challenges here as well. Do this within a week. Do these things within a single season. Do these things in competitive, and you'll get these competitive points, which you can get towards getting your golden weapons. Here are lifetime achievements, which is funny because it looks like some of these are just simply not accounting what you've done before, because I only just had to get these ones right here. And it's like, obviously this is not true, literally, but it doesn't account for what you did before in terms of those, so whatever. And then I guess there'll be achievements for specific heroes, or challenges, but they haven't done those yet. And also, you'll notice that it said most challenges cannot be completed in custom games or practice versus AI, only if it specifically says so. But you'll see here on the Battle Pass, there are challenges, like I said, and then there are rewards, which are these things right here. So there's like the Tier 1 to Tier 15, which is like these various things. I'll talk about Kiriko in a bit. I did get the pack, the Battle Point pack, some time ago, so that's why it includes this as well, and some of these other things here, like this skin here, this skin here. You'll notice I'm also a decent length in. That's because you can actually spend the currency that's in this, which was the coins we used to acquire in this game, which has been changed. You can use that towards actually acquiring tiers. So I'll talk about that in just a moment, and like I said, we'll talk more about Kiriko in a bit. But you can actually go ahead and you can see here, this is the stuff, the information about what the Battle Pass and the Premium Battle Pass is as well. All these different things are going on here, if you want to go ahead and pause and read that a bit. So let's also talk about the shop, because this is what I'm sure some of you are wondering about. You'll see there's a currency up here. So let me go to Heroes and show you that there's multiple different currencies here. So if you go here, you'll then see here there are These are called Overwatch coins, this gold one here. This white one is called Legacy Credits. I'm not really sure exactly how that works just yet. The red one is competitive points, the stuff that we would use to get golden weapons, and then those are the Overwatch League tokens. These were amounts that were carried over, I think, somewhat from, I guess, the merging of the accounts. So what was in my previous PC and PS4 account were brought over and I guess combined, because when I logged in, it said I had over 5,000 competitive points, and I thought I was pretty sure I didn't have that until I realized they must have combined the points I had left over from both accounts. So it allowed me to get yet another golden weapon, which, by the way, it actually did carry over the fact that I had gotten golden weapons on separate characters on the previous accounts. So, for example, on PS4, I had gotten golden weapons for Soldier, Zenyatta, Brigida, and Junkrat. I did not get them on the PC account, but it carried over that I did have them, so now all the golden weapons I've gotten on both accounts are now all here. But going back to what I was saying about the currency here, you'll see I have 0, but that's because I actually already did have 2,000 Overwatch coins. And you can spend those coins on this battle pass to buy specific tiers. If you go to tiers here, or buy tiers, and you press +1, you'll see, okay, so if I want to buy one tier, I have to spend 200 Overwatch coins. Now, here's the catch. Because you're like, well, how do you get those coins? Well, I don't know how you can earn them in the game. I haven't fully learned or discovered that yet. I'm sure there's a way. There's also this separate thing for the regular shop, the seasonal shop, and the Overwatch League as well. And you see I have two, obviously you probably know about this because this was in the game before. However, this is the other part right here. So remember, loot boxes are no longer a thing in this game. They've gotten rid of them. You can't buy loot boxes anymore. Loot boxes are gone. However, you can now spend money on these Overwatch coins. 1,000 Overwatch coins cost $10. If you spend $20, you get 2,000 plus a 10% bonus, which is, of course, 200. That's how that works now. It's very similar to how they did the shop in Heroes of the Storm, where you would spend money on that specific currency to get some of these other things that are here. Now, in case you're wondering, are any of these things something that could give you some kind of competitive advantage? From what I've seen, the answer is absolutely not. None of these things give you any sort of competitive advantage. That has never been a thing in Overwatch before. It has always only been cosmetic stuff, and that's what it is. It's portraits, sprays, victory poses, emotes, voice lines, these new things called, what are they called? Souvenirs or collectibles or weapon charms that you can go ahead and put on your weapons here. You can go ahead and actually add a little charm here on your weapon if you want for your characters. So yeah. So these are some of the various different things that they have changed here. The idea here is that you're going to just do all these various challenges, work on these challenges throughout your time playing the game. Apparently, I only have 1 hour left to actually finish these daily challenges, and then it will reset and give me a whole new set of daily challenges. So, the weekly one resets in 5 days, the season one resets in 61 days, etc., etc. So those are some of the big new changes that have come around here in Overwatch 2 compared to the first one. Unranked is, of course, here. Competitive is now here. Compared to the beta, obviously it wasn't there before. If you go to Unranked, you'll see Mystery Heroes is now in Unranked and not in the arcade one anymore. So it's free-for-all deathmatch. You can be able to go to Quick Play and select the roles if you want, and you'll see certain roles give you an extra amount of XP for the Battle Pass. And then, of course, it's Quick Play, which is play literally any role if you want. Same thing goes on here in Competitive as well. Very, very similar. And then, of course, there's Arcade, with these things, No Limits, Total Mayhem, and, of course, Custom Games. And you can, like I said, I'm on the Asian server, so you can see, so. Although I think a lot of other players have figured it out because I've encountered players already in a match I was testing this out on that were speaking English, so I don't know. But anyways. Alright, so now that I've gone over many of the things here, you'll also notice that the portraits here are updated and changed, as well as the new default Overwatch 2 skins. By the way, you'll see I actually just spent the extra competitive credits I had to get Reaper's golden weapons, because, you know, golden shotguns, awesome. But anyways, let's talk about Kiriko, because I've talked about Sojourn. I actually showed that as well, and we already took a look at Junker Queen. It's also worth noting that you can actually watch the Junker Queen Wastelander cinematic here if you want. That's pretty cool. I don't know why you can't watch the other ones here. I thought they were going to do that for the other characters that have their cinematics in case you want to just watch them here in the game. But it's cool that they put the Junker Queen one here since she is a new character. But the newest character that's been added is Kiriko, and she is a healer. And I'm so glad, because I felt like if you looked at the comparison, healers desperately needed another member to the roster. We already have plenty of tanks and plenty of DPS. We need more healers. So Kiriko has joined the healer ranks. But what is she like? Well, after the fall of the Shimada clan, Kiriko fights to restore peace in Kanezaka. Forgive me, I'm not very good on pronouncing either Korean, Japanese, Asian names and words and such, so forgive me. But she, with her left click, she can channel a burst of healing talismans that seek out targeted allies. So if you target someone that's low in health, it will show the cards are yellow and it'll go to their target and heal them. It's not super fast burst healing like Mercy, but it's pretty decent. Your right click is a kunai, which is, of course, a throwing projectile that you can throw out to deal increased critical damage. So if you can land some headshots with those things, you're going to do a lot of damage. Her ultimate is Kitsune Rush. She summons a fox spirit that rushes forward, accelerating the movement speed, attack speed, and cooldowns of allies that follow in its path. So certain heroes, you can imagine, benefit from that a great deal. My favorite thing about Kiriko, though, is the swift step. Her left shift, which is teleports directly to an ally. She can teleport through walls and through floors right to an ally. So, you know how often walls have interfered with healers? I cannot tell you how many times that it's been frustrating wanting to heal somebody and I can't because they're on the other side of a wall. Now, on Kiriko, I can just teleport through that wall to my ally and immediately start healing them. It's wonderful. You know that spawn point on Gibraltar on defense, the last one, where you're like below where they need to go and you have to go up the stairs? I can now just teleport to my ally at that floor area through the floor. It's great. She also has a cleanse. Her E is Protection Suzu. Throw a protective charm that makes allies briefly invulnerable and cleansed of most negative effects. That is so great. Any of you, know that I used to play Heroes of the Storm on this channel, and healers in that game, like Uther and such, would have cleanse. Plenty of other healers had cleanse as well. But that was usually the kind of thing, that other healers would incorporate as well to be able to help deal with crowd control. So Kiriko does have that. She also, of course, can jump at walls and climb them, just like Genji and Hanzo. Of course, I'm sure the idea is that she's a ninja like Naruto. And of course, the new role system in this game, which for supports is automatically heal over time. I've already talked about this when we were doing the beta. So let's get into the practice range so I can actually show her to you in action. It also gives me the opportunity to actually show you guys the new animations they have here on the character selection screen. So look at Diva. She summons in her mech. Definitely a different selection screen compared to Overwatch 1. And they've done this with every hero. You'll see Doomfist here. And they just kind of stares at you there. Same thing with Reinhardt here. Each character has a different, really cool character selection animation. Soldier with his gun. Reaper teleports in. Really cool stuff. Pharah drops in. And can I just say, I really like some of these new default skins. They're labeled as Overwatch 2, but I really like some of them. I think some of them look really, really cool. Look at Bastion. He starts off, he's got the hat right there. You see that? And he's wearing a hat right now. But you'll notice when he starts off, you see the hat right there? Look at that. That's great. So anyway, some of these are really cool. I think these are really cool character selection screens. So anyways. So this is Kiriko, as you can see here. So that's her, kunai that she can toss out. I've heard that if you can land headshots with this, it does ridiculous damage. And that right there is the teleport I was talking about. And then here is the heal. You can see, not super bursty, but because I'm targeting them, if I don't target someone, it's just blue and it doesn't heal anybody. But if I target them, then it turns yellow and it does heal them. So let's say I'm over here, and this wall is interfering. I'm like, oh no, my teammate needs heals. That is so wonderful. Like, that is absolutely my favorite part of Kiriko. No question. This is the cleanse. It's a little hard to kind of get a grasp on the full range of it, but if you can be able to, like, say, do the Ana thing, which is like, if they're bunched up around you, you just kind of look down at the ground and just toss it on the ground, and it kind of does that AoE there. You can probably be able to include them as well if they're close enough. And then here's her ult.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
So look how fast the cleanse is recharging as I'm going down this path here. See that? So now just imagine certain characters that benefit from cooldown reduction, movement speed, and attack speed. Because you also notice I was throwing out my kunais faster there. That's how fast her reload is, by the way. Like, that's her regular cast speed. But all of a sudden I was tossing them even faster as I was going down the pathway. And that's basically Kiriko.
Feels like sunlight, huh?
Like, she may not have super bursty healing, honestly, but having this cleanse to deal with, like, very certain things, like I think that actually helps against Ana's purple grenade. If you have allies that now are purple because of Ana's grenade, you can just throw down the cleanse, and you can be able to actually help them with that. It also deals with Junker Queen's bleeds as well. So, it's a really nice ability to deal with some of those effects as well. Now, the only thing is, if you don't have an ally to teleport to, she doesn't have an extra way to be mobile, which is unfortunate. Especially if you're having to run back from spawn and no one's around. Which is why, it's like if you're used to, hanging around spawn after Mercy dies to help Mercy have an ally to fly to, do the same thing for Kiriko. So she can be able to use her teleport to do that in order to try and get back to the fight faster.
Feels like sunlight, huh?
So I just want to try and show you the ult one more time so I can also demonstrate the attack speed change. So watch.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Notice how much faster I'm attacking now.
You take a lot of damage, huh?
So yeah, that is Kiriko. So anyways, so that's basically some of the issues and changes that have been going on with Overwatch 2, even into the second day that it's been out. If you want to try and play on NA servers, good luck. Blizzard has put out a post on the launcher saying that they are actively working on trying to fix these server issues. So you may thank you for your patience. So if you want to play on those servers, you're just probably gonna have to be patient. But if you just want to get into the game and play right away, switch server regions, probably to Asia, because it just seems like there's really not much of an issue on these servers. So anyways, I'll try and recover. I'll also be looking at trying to see if there's anything else I want to cover in the meantime. And I will see you guys next time.